Hi there everyone, it's Andrew Roberts here. We've got a really interesting interview for you this week. I'm interviewing a gentleman by the name of Sam Bowden. Now, Sam was previously a vet and ran a very successful vet practice and made a decision that he wanted to create a lifestyle business. Now, he established a company called the United Vets Group in 2006, and I think this is one of the smartest business models that I've come across when it comes to creating a lifestyle business. Now, Sam went from working enormous hours, flipped over an entire new business model where he creates a buyers group and gets all the vets purchasing from suppliers together, but at the same time is extremely passionate about helping the vets achieve wealth, success through their company. He's grown this business to over 200 members. He's profiting close to $1 million a year. He gets to work whenever he wants, from wherever he wants. He's one of the happiest, most passionate guys you'll meet. You will learn so much from this interview when it comes to operating an amazing lifestyle business. Hope you enjoy it. Well, Sam, thank you very much for doing this, and really keen for you to educate our audience on what you've been through and the lifestyle business that you've created, because I think you've had an extraordinary journey. And you know, you and I met around about 2 years ago, and as I said in my introduction video, and I remember at the time you'd obviously started your UVG, United Vets Group, and you've taken it to a whole nother level, which we'll go into very shortly, because I want people to find out a bit more about it. But I want to firstly just talk around this decision to create this lifestyle business, Sam. And I want to, just for a moment, I want to go back to actually when you and I, we'll tell people about the model shortly, but when you and I first met, you obviously had a veterinary practice.
Yeah.
And we're sitting on the cusp of you wanting to go all in on the UVG, but just do you recall some of the fears and just to help the listeners understand where you're at that point, and if you like, what were some of those fears stopping you going all in to the UVG?
You know, I was sort of getting frustrated with being in general practice, because it just felt like a little game, and I'd have to turn up the same time to work every day and all those sorts of things, and it just was just building and building on me. And kind of had this UVG sitting there as a bit of a possibility. You know, it was already working to a smaller degree, but my fear, to cut to the chase, was letting go of something that was, if you like, certain and very safe. Like, I was making, a good six-figure income, multiple six-figure income out of this veterinary practice, and working 4 days a week. In fact, I was only working as a vet a couple of days a week there. And for me, getting rid of it, it made sense emotionally. Logically, it didn't make sense, because my fear was, what if I don't pull it off? What if I go into this thing and she goes, and the whole thing falls over my butt, and all of a sudden I've got a young family and a wife, and, Dad's not providing. And leaving, it's stepping out of security and safety. I mean, I tend to be a pretty security conscious kind of guy in terms of finance. So for me, my biggest fear was letting go. And the hardest thing was to trust that I had something or a system that would work. And that's when you rocked on the scene.
I remember the headbutting of from my angle, I can so clearly tell when someone's intuition wants them to do something, but then the little head and the fear gets in the road. And I remember the turmoil that you were going through in your life, and you made the decision. And we're going to talk about what happened after finally making that decision, because I know you sold your practice, and then you went over here to really dive into the UVG, United Vets Group. And I want to just firstly get you to explain your model in simplistic terms, because it's extraordinary, Sam, what you've done with the UVG. But if you could just take maybe a minute just for our listeners to understand, well, what do you do with the vets fundamentally?
It's going to be a long minute. However, to put it to put it in a nutshell, what I do is I teach vets how to make money out of their practices. And all I realized was I was doing it in my practice and I thought I was normal. Then when I went and looked around, I was like, well, I've actually got a really profitable practice. So I went, maybe I could show some other people how to do this. And what started out as a buying group initially where, hey, listen, if I get a few vets to work together and we all get under this one name, I can start a buying community and we can negotiate some better rates. And I just want it for my vet practice so I could, get a better deal on drugs. And what I found was that all of a sudden, the information that I could help other practices with, just giving them literally the script that I would use to talk to a client or how I deal with a staff issue, the sort of things that people have day in, day out. What I realized was I could leverage that, and my model, if you like, or what I knew was actually quite valuable to everybody else. And the funny thing, I remember the realization was when I told people this, and they're going, wow, that's amazing. And I'm thinking, it's not amazing. Little old me, I've come up with some basic concept that, I pretty much got from somebody else. But it was just in the realization that to be an expert as such, you don't have to be an expert. If you know a fair bit about a field, compared to most people out there, you're an expert. And my model is based around giving huge value to a lot of people in exactly the same industry. So I don't go outside of my industry. I just give vets a buying group. I give them community so they can interact with each other within a forum, and business building ideas. So we actually walk them through step by step on how to build a business that I'm pretty much creating as I go along. So I'm using what I've learned from other people such as you, and that model, out of that model actually develops other revenue sources, which we'll talk about a little bit later, I guess.
Yeah. And just for our listeners to get their head around the size of your community and the base level program that people join in on, I mean, can you just introduce them to that just so they get their head around that basic level that people come in to operate with you? And I mean, Sam, also following that, you've got such a high stick rate and very few people leave once they're in. So I'd love to just talk about how they pay you and why they don't leave.
With the model that we've got, to frame it up for you, in our industry, I have only got 1,900 possible clients in the whole of Australia. So my business is working with vet practice owners. And there's about, I think it's 1,950 vet practices throughout Australia. Now, we've just sort of starting to tap into the international market, which is obviously a lot bigger. But talk about niching. I just work with that. So I've only got 1,900 possible clients, and of that, we've got 250 of those practices are part of or 230 of those practices are part of our group now. And what happens is they pay a monthly membership fee, and as a result of that monthly membership fee, throughout the buying group, we're able to save those practices anywhere from $10 to $50,000, $60,000 a year, just by jumping on, just by joining that buying community. So we do all the legwork for them. We've set up the deals for them. But here's the interesting thing: people join for that. Like, I'm getting a better price. Great, they join for that. What becomes evident after a short period of time is they actually forget about that benefit, and they start looking at the bigger picture, or the bigger vision, if you like, which is, I'm here to help you make money. Actually, my vision is to increase the profitability and work-life balance of vet and practice owners worldwide. And everything that I do is based around fulfilling that mission. So they stay because they want to be part of this big vision, but also because they're getting all the different values add that you taught me, like the actual systems and strategies that you taught me to use, like just work like this. And they're the intangibles that people can't actually put a price on. So I spoke to a client yesterday, and he said, so interesting, he's now on 3 of our programs. So he's a part of the United Vets group. He's now got one of our websites, and he's also gone on our ultimate marketing program. So the guy probably spends, I don't know, 10 grand a year with us. More. 12, 14 grand a year with it. Actually, no, yeah, it's closer to 18 grand, that's right. So I haven't added it up like that before, it sounds pretty good. So he, and what he said was, when I first joined, it was just to get a better price. He said, the reason that I'm still here is because of your integrity and your intent to actually change an industry. And he said, I want to be part of that. And it was interesting that people will pay to be part of something. So I think the high stick rate, in answer to your question, one, they go, well, if I leave, I'm actually financially worse off if they did nothing else because of the buying group. But they really stay and get involved at the higher levels because of the bigger picture, the
Yeah.
bigger mission that we're on.
I mean, I just want to just stop here for a moment because you've said actually three extremely important things, and I really hope people take this away. The first thing, Sam, is your mission. You know, you're so, and I know this, you're so dedicated to helping the vets. And I mean, there's four things. There's the mission. The second thing is the niche. You mentioned 1,900. There's bugger all of them, and you've got 230. And I know that alone, just that bottom level program, more than likely brings you around $500,000 in income. You know, around about per annum, just off that. And we're going to talk about how much you have to do to service that shortly. And the third thing, though, is you're saving them money. So the money they're paying with you, you're looking for ways to actually save that for them, which I think is just fantastic because you're getting them to buy together. And the fourth thing is you're adding value to them. You're showing them how to make more money. And I mean, this is why it's people know by leaving they're worse off. So the model is exceptional, Sam, and one of the best that I've seen. And I mean, it is great for people to hear. I mean, how much work do you need to put in monthly to deliver value back to that, to keep that 230 occupied? I mean, how much time would it take for you to service that income you generate off that lower end program?
Well, if it's just management of that one, I'm not really good at not doing anything. I actually thought this the other day. How would I go just managing a business and not growing it? And I'd go bonkers. It'd drive me nuts. Yeah, but my actual time, it at a max, it would probably be a day and a half a week. And like what I'm finding, and if I actually, it's less than that because most of that is really, a lot of that's actually around trying to get, developing systems to bring more people into our group. But the entire thing is now automated. Like all three of our businesses are entirely automated from the moment that we have a conversation to they actually say yes. From there on, and these are all, two of them are lifetime kind of businesses, as in we would expect them to be for 5-10 years. It's completely automated. So sometimes I feel a little bit cheeky because I go, wow, now they're in the program, we can deliver massive value, and I don't know, the money pops in the bank account. I don't do a heck of a lot. Bit of setting up, and I always talk about I have a PA. He's always trying to teach me how to do a new, use a computer software program or something. And it's a big joke here. As I go, you're trying to teach me how to milk the cow. I don't want to learn how to milk the cow. I just want the milk.
I know exactly what you mean. So I mean, I want to go back because was it 18 months ago or 2 years ago when we first started? But somewhere between 18 months and 2 years, I think.
It was 2 years. 2 years. Yeah, it's 2 years and 2 months ago. Yeah.
There you go. 2 years and 2 months ago. And you started this, and obviously you made the decision to go all in, which meant you're one guy that I know focuses, and you don't allow other things to interrupt you, and you obviously let go of your veterinary practice. You made the commitment, you made the decision to go all in, and I just want to firstly, in your words, get you to summarise the changes in your life since making that decision, and then after this we're going to go into, well, what else have you done in the last 24 months to grow that business, take it to the next level. But just firstly, the change in your life, Sam, from going all in and letting go, dealing with that fear, letting the business go and creating this whole new world, this lifestyle business, this amazing opportunity. So love to hear.
What was, I think going to create the business, the interesting thing that really, and I mean, you were banging at this. Yeah, I mean, obviously you were encouraging me to let go of the clinic, and I know I had another mentor who was at the same time. And I honestly didn't let go of that clinic until you came on the scene, and I'll be quite frank here. This is, by the way, I don't get anything for telling you this. It was that I said, can you help me get there and make this thing work, and you can guarantee it. and you said, you do the work and I'll guarantee it. And I remember that was actually the decision when I made to let go of my practice, because I knew at that particular time that sometimes you need other people to believe in you before you believe in yourself. And it was essentially when you looked at the system we had and you looked at me and you said, yeah, I've got the tools to help you get there. And that was the point where I knew, I went, okay, I actually put my trust in this guy, this Andrew Roberts guy. And that was the point. And one of the things you said there is you'll be amazed the opportunities that come to you once you've created space. So I've gone from working in this practice that, I had 6 staff, which, not a lot of staff, but I mean, you get more than 1 staff member and you got headaches. You get 1 staff member, you got headaches. And so I went from that to no staff at all. We ended up getting 1 PA to do 20 hours a week, who I've still got. I remember at the time I'm going, Andrew, what am I going to get to do for 20 hours a week? You said, oh, don't worry, you'll fill her up pretty quick. So the immediate thing that occurred was I suddenly had time to focus and actually just spend all my time just going down this one track. And what's really changed, one on a lifestyle thing is I go to the gym, 2 mornings a week, come in, I don't know, 9:30, 10 o'clock. I work through till 4 or 5. I walk up the hill to have lunch with my wife. I try and do it when the baby's asleep, otherwise I'm going to be stuck with having to do nappies and feed it. And so, the amount of time that I've now got, I've got real control of my time, that I do what I want with my time, and the business doesn't stop if I'm not here. So that was the first thing. The second thing was the opportunities that came once I started just niching down this one area. And once again, I remember you saying this, that if you just focus in one area for a period of time, you become the expert pretty quick. And I remember the day saying I created this, this concept of how to sell in the consult room out of what I did, and I called it the consult room sales form. And I thought, oh, well, it's pretty, it's just average. And then I thought, right, I'm the Australian's veterinary marketing expert. And I was like, how do you do that? I remember your comment. You said you call yourself the expert first and it forces you to become it. And it's literally done that. It has forced me in a scenario where now I'm considered, we're pretty much we are the leading edge in marketing in veterinary practices internationally. So not only Australia. And that's taken 2 years. Now, 2 years ago, if you had have told me I could sit here and in complete honesty tell you that, no one in the world. Like literally, I would just have said, okay, I don't even believe you, even if you told me it. So that was the second thing, is I became very much how to do it, and the people to get you there to do it. Yeah, funny, they just popped up on the scene at the right time. I mean, nothing happens by accident, as we know. And the third thing is it's allowed us to create. I've always wanted to create a business I could literally run from anywhere in the world, which sounds a bit pie in the sky, but we're testing it. So next year, in January and February, we've rented a house in Canmore in Canada, which just happens to be surrounded by 4 amazing ski fields, which I love skiing, and my wife. So looking forward to taking a little 4-year-old and baby Max, he's 1. We're going skiing. Literally take my laptop, plug it in, and I can run this thing from anywhere in the world with I've got 2 part-time PAs, and that's the extent of my team.
I mean, I just know this, getting the life back, which then fuels more energy and passion back into the business. And I mean, Sam, just to give people an indication, even in terms of, you're obviously working a lot less than what you previously did in your vet practice, because you don't have it. Income, profit. I mean, talk a little bit about what's happened in that area as well, in terms of making money, particularly over the last 12 months, and then also moving forward in the next 12. And surely we'll get into some of the other things you're doing to make income, but we'd love for you just to elaborate a bit more on the difference. Has it taken you up to that next level?
What's interesting about if you like a traditional business model versus this method, and by the way, I swear I could take this model and stick it in any industry. In fact, one of these days I'm going to run a course on it. I don't care if it's painting, it's dentistry, it doesn't matter what, because the elements that we've pulled together from about 5 or 6 different industries will actually work anywhere. There's certain ways to do it that we've figured out through some big mistakes that do and don't work. But the system, I'm sure I could take and use anywhere. The thing is, it's so leveraged. So whether I had 10 people or I have 2,000 people in the group, my time, there's actually no more thing that comes on my time. So I need to create a certain amount of content for those people, which I learned how to do. I didn't know how to do initially. And so whether I cut a deal with one for one practice or for 2,000 practices is no different. So one is the style that's completely leverageable. So the income as such, my overheads don't go up by the amount of people we have. Like our costs per head of, it's about our hard costs. If I was really going hard, it would be about $20 a month maybe per member. Obviously we're developing other programs and I've got, PAs to help me do that. We've invested money there, but so the money I was making out of the vet practice, I have doubled that in 2 years, and it was considered to be in the top 5% of vet practices in Australia in profit. So in 2 years, we've now gone. So we made over $600,000 in the last 12 months. Profit. And I have this funny thing where before I come to work, I get really itchy if I can't get down my office. Like if I'm stuck with looking after kids for too long, I'm like, I just want to go down. I get this nervous excitement every time I go down because, like, wow, what am I going to do today? What are we going to create? Whose life am I going to change today? So it's great that there's that in. Like I just love doing what I do. Literally, I'd do this for free. I mean, I just love doing what I do. And then the upside, the potential of this is, we've spent a fair bit of time building the systems to handle the automation of it. Like the last 9 months have really been built around building these two other systems, which are now up and running and very profitable. We expect, well, I'll put my figures on the table, a fairly conservative estimate, and we're well on target for it, is $1 million profit in this 12 months.
Yeah.
And what's always the goal?
And I mean, the thing I love about this was 2 years ago, from working hard to big hours to, exercise and health comes second to health, family first, and income going up. It's just this crazy paradox that you teach that in order to go to that next level, sometimes we need to do less. It's extraordinary, Sam. And listen, you've obviously got this base level of clients in this community, and I love the fact you really do have a community that all talk to each other and help one another, which I just love. And then you came along, and we won't spend too much time on each of these, but just to give a quick overview, because you can start to now see other products and other ways that you can add value to that audience. And you obviously have the websites. And just really quickly, just to let people know what you do for vets with the website business, because I know you treat it as another arm to a business, like a separate company, but just so they can hear how smart this is, because it is very, very smart.
Well, what we figured was, in most businesses, I guess, people are good technically, and so they think, I'll go into business. So they're good technicians that are then trying to run a business. And the hardest thing they always have, or they think in their head, is getting a new client or how to get more profit. And so if you look at their marketing within that niched industry, like within the industry, generally their marketing is it's either non-existent, or it's very haphazard, or does it work? They don't really know because they don't measure it. So, for example, we know in terms of, so our decision was, I just want to bring every tool that I can to increase the chance that vet practice owner is going to get themselves into a place of, plenty of profit, get their life back, so they can then go on and hopefully pass that message on to someone else. And you create a movement this way. So the websites, if you look at a lot of vets' websites or any business's websites, they might be nice looking websites, or most of them are pretty ordinary looking websites because they've tried to save a few bucks and get a mate down the road to design it, etc. And what I realised is that the conversion on these websites from a new client looking for a business, there's a whole different psychology behind what goes on a website to get it there. And when I was in practice myself, a lot of my stuff comes out of when I was in practice. I go, what did I want to help me get there? And I was like, man, I just want someone to show me the website. Do for me. Give me the website that works. Happy to pay you for it. I want the clients. And I've looked all around the world, couldn't find it. Looked at companies that claimed they could do it and asked, how many conversions do you get? And no one No one does that. That says how much traffic they'll get, but they won't say how many conversions. So a conversion to me is a phone call. So we set out, and it took us, and I worked with a guy who's literally an expert. I did a joint venture with him, so that I didn't have to come up with. We reckon we've spent $70,000 or $80,000 if we counted our time. In fact, it'd be in the six figure. The resources we've put into creating these websites. But what we know is if a practice buys this website, we can measure the amount of telephone calls they get as a result of the website, and it's going through, like, it's literally, they going, we get no clients till we can switch two things on and they'll start getting phone calls that day. So it's a templated website that works anywhere in the world, because the psychological drivers between the people buying from a vet or looking for a vet are the same. So now we've got another automated leverageable system anywhere in the world. And it's just a month-by-month membership.
You do the work once, you create the scalable product, and then you scale it. And Sam, you know, what does a vet pay you for that, to have access to that per month?
So it's $250 a month. We tried $500 initially, and it was just outside of their comfort zone.
Yeah, so you've got the right pricing point, and then that's the thing I love about it. Once a client goes through building it, they see the results. They're not going to want to cancel it. It's ongoing revenue for you.
And it's funny, once you start thinking in this way, like, I get quite a lot of people going, what do you think about this business idea? What do you think about that business idea in relation to the veterinary industry? And now my head is always skewed, is it going to be something that's leverageable, and is it going to be something that's continuity based? As in, once you develop that relationship, what's something I can deliver to improve their lives that they are going to want to constantly month in, month out?
And I mean, and now leveraging into this is the one that I love, and I think this is your true signature system. This the marketing program. So, would love for you to give just a snapshot of this marketing program that you built, the high level one, and what you charge for it, Sam, and just to give people an idea as to what extra revenue you've brought in just from launching this in the last 12 months, actually. If you've got one, even better. So this is what I call a signature system. And to put this into perspective, while Sam's digging it out, when you've got the base clients, you can build these things. So Sam, let's just firstly, we'll hit them up. How much do you charge for this?
So it's $12,000 plus GST to buy the program.
$12,000 plus GST. And before even going into it, approximately how much revenue's come through in addition to your business, just from this program alone over the last 12 months? Like a guesstimate.
No, I saw the figures the other day. So it's it was about 260,000 after expenses. And we started, here's the funny thing, we actually sold the program before we'd created it. And the beta testing clients that came on, we let them educate us as to what they wanted in it. So we created, you know, probably the more powerful parts of the program, but then we've added a whole bunch of stuff based on their beta testing. We said, you're invited in as a special person, and we gave them special privileges to be able to work with us, you know, would critique their pieces, etc. as a result of it. So, we actually started in February.
It's brilliant, February. And I mean, look, I think there's 5 modules, and just for you to maybe show the 5 modules just so people can see. See, this is the signature system, right? So what's the top one? Your client letter.
These client letters, what these are based on is if you're developing a relationship with a client, I was always like, give me a letter I can send out that's going to get them to come in and buy a product or service from me. And I knew if I employed a copywriter, and I'm talking a good copywriter, I don't know, it'd be 50, 100 grand really to put this whole program together. And I went, well, you know, so when I was in practice, I wanted it, couldn't find it anywhere in the world, literally anywhere in the world. So, you know, we created it based on me knowing what my client wants. Yeah, and then, so anyway, we created, there's these 5 things, and what's really interesting is they look like this massive program. They're actually not that massive. It's just really the distilled down components that actually make the money. So we've pulled out everything that's available and all the stuff we knew, and we went, we're just going to the stuff Here's the real twist on it. It's actually designed to educate the staff in the practice, not the business owner. Because we realised in the business, when we're talking, they'll go, oh yeah, but my team won't do it. We went, cool. We'll design the whole program around their mentality and their psychology. So all the training that we do, like the CDs and a workbook, it's all actually designed at their level and it's benefit written for them, so that they are developing the culture within the practice. They are the ones doing the marketing using the scripts. And it's all geared around that, creating a vision and having excitement in a practice and making it fun. And that becomes one of the biggest selling points of the program.
Oh, it's huge, and it's the done-for-you stuff. And Sam, just to put this in perspective, people have to respect here that you've finished it, you've done the work, it's built, and now when you make a sale, Sam, it's minimal involvement from you. So, just to put this in perspective, how many do you see yourself selling and shipping in the next 12 months? Like, give a realistic guesstimate.
All right. Well, we did a 3-day event that we were going to do anyway, and of course, and Andrew, you spoke at that. It was great fun. By the way, if you want a really great speaker, Andrew, we got everyone to rank what they thought of the speakers. Andrew was ranked number 1, and I don't think we even had him on there when we initially set it out. Anyway, so we sold 17 of those, and it's the first. We've only done 2 pushes. So one, we did a one-off webinar and got an expression of interest and followed up with a phone call, and we sold 28 of these programs from that. Takes me 45 minutes to sell a program. So when I'm talking to them, and once again, I blew a couple and I just figured out what I need to talk to them about. And so we're about to do some one-day events, and we expect to sell 50 of those in a couple of months. So we reckon the Australian market, if you look at the practices that are really going to go for this, most practices are not that fired up about making money. They're going to go for it. But we reckon there's 200 programs in Australia, so we would expect in 12 months' time that we should have sold those 200. But the program's actually been designed to be an international program. So all of our programs, so the websites, the UVG, the content and things like that, and this are all actually designed that they'll work anywhere in the world. So, of course, our next market is off. It becomes how big a game do you want to play. But the funny thing is, once we do a sale on this thing, I actually don't have anything to do with it after that. No, it takes over, the system takes over, the billing takes over, the delivery of the program, I con one of the other guys to do it, so they're responsible for actually posting it to them, and their wife handles all the accounts and everything like that. So I've actually done this, because to create this thing would have been so much work, and the know-how to put together something. This is literally a world class. You can't get this anywhere else in the world. No. It doesn't exist.
It's a signature system. It's a world-class signature system. I love it.
Yeah, and for me, I could have tried to create it myself, and I went, no, faster to find someone who knows how to do it. So I've found an incredible copywriter who understands marketing and delivery of it. So I've actually done this as a JV with 3 other people. But here's the cool thing, there's 3 of us selling it, not 1.
I love it.
It's a lot easier.
I love it, Sam, and it's such a powerful program and life-changing. And so, look, if we're going to put a summary on it, and I mean, what you've achieved in 2 years has been extraordinary, and I think you've only scratching the surface, and I think you know that as well. I mean, the world's your oyster, and you're spending 2 months over in Canada. But how would you, if you had to summarise, I call it flipping your life first. I talk a lot about this. Flip your life first. I call this a flipped business, where your business works around your lifestyle. It is truly a lifestyle business, and if you had to summarise the key things that you've learnt, what would they be for other people that are either doing this or passionate about doing this?
The first one is the belief that it is achievable. I think, like I've always had in my head, passive income for me is the thing in my head. So, I've often driven towards that. And the second thing is freedom. So the belief that I always want to be free, as in I don't want to have to turn up at 9 o'clock because there's a door to open. And having so one is the belief that you can do it. Like, there's no doubt you can do it. The second thing is just and geez, Andrew, lucky you were there at this time when I was trying and trying and trying, it wasn't working, just saying, and you actually said, I won't give up on you because you're that close to cracking it. And when you do, then boom, all of a sudden it actually comes, and it happened almost exactly like you'd said. Surprise, surprise. So I think too, my thing is you must work with the right people. Go and find the people who are getting results and go and work with them. So the people who've done it in the real world, not theorists. The third thing is that I have learned, and I'm still learning, is this thing about opening yourself up to possibility. Most people won't give themselves permission that it's okay to be an incredibly blessed, fortunate person that gets a ridiculous amount of good luck. No good luck out there. And the more I let go of that, like the opportunities, it's literally like, which one do I want? And I'm constantly out there kind of creating, I'm doing stuff, but it's just setting that intention and keeping it there all the time that this is where I'm heading for. Like I still do the stuff that you showed me where every day I sit down and go, I have my vision. Here's my funny vision. It is snow skiing in Canada.
Yeah. And now you're doing it.
Yeah, and now it's, you know, it's going to happen. And, you know, it was jumping out of a heli skiing. It was jumping out of a helicopter. That was my vision. I've always wanted to go heli skiing, making $1 million. Now that was 2 years ago. That's what I had in my head. That's what we'll have achieved by January, February this year. So it's almost giving in to the fact that if you just keep heading towards it, it does actually happen. Even when it looks so unachievable, it's not funny. And the third thing is that don't try and do it yourself. Like I'm the kind of guy, you know, I want to do it all myself. The more I let go and I bring the right people in, you know, the joint ventures I've done with the right people, which I'm very careful who I work with. I need people of high integrity. But for me, it was, if you're the right person, they come finding you. And I think that was one of the big lessons that I've found. And you know what? You all of a sudden turn around, you look around, you go, man, how did that happen in 2 years? Like, there's a story to this. About 6 or 7 years ago, we were pretty much broke. We invested in a business that lost us hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I thought was stuff for the rest of our lives. So to be able to turn that around it's like, I would say, I thought, oh, it's kind of unachievable. All I can tell you is it's not.
Yeah, sliding doors. And it's and turning energy from fear to faith, Sam. And I've certainly witnessed you coming from a fear to an utter faith, and the reinforcement and the world. Look, and it won't last. We're going to have the ups and the downs, but it's been an extraordinary journey, and it's continuing. And listen, I'm going to hold you to what you said, because you've got so much knowledge and value that I'm sure people listening to this would die to come and spend a day or two, Sam. So, you know, you and I might be able to run something like that out in the future as well. So hopefully this audience watching this will get to see more of you. But look, we'll pull it up there. You've given an enormous amount away. Thank you so much for sharing and opening us up to your business today.
Oh, well, it's a pleasure, Andrew. You know, I mean, quite seriously, I would not be sitting here if we hadn't have sat and had that meeting 2 years and 2 months ago, and you said, go away, you think about it. If you hadn't have said, yeah, I can get you there, I would not be here. I'd still be stuck in that vet clinic. And in fact, it chokes me up a bit because my life is so different now. That fear, it's there, it's real. Let go of it, because it'll stop you going there. So I'm happy to give back.
It's awesome, Sam. Well, thank you. We'll see you very soon.
Okay. Cheers, Andrew. Thanks.
Bye.